In the pre-dawn shadows of January 31st, 1968, the strategically crucial town of Dong Ha, perched precariously on the knife edge dividing North and South Vietnam, was thrust into pandemonium. The Tet Offensive, a campaign of unprecedented scale and savagery, burst forth, unleashing thousands of enemy combatants who surged forward, intent on encircling Dong Ha before American forces could bolster its defenses. The 11th Marines found themselves squarely in the eye of the storm, entrusted with a mission fraught with peril. Their mandate was clear: safeguard this vital position or face the potential collapse of American forces throughout Vietnam. In their arsenal, the 11th Marines possessed an unorthodox weapon, a modified M47 Patton Tank, ingeniously transformed into a Howitzer. This hybrid creation, a veritable Frankenstein's monster of military engineering, had seen little action in battle. Yet, in the crucible of Dong Ha, it emerged as the cornerstone of defense. As the conflict intensified, the thunderous roars of the M55 echoed across the battlefield, with the fate of Dong Ha, and perhaps the course of the war, hanging in the balance. In the theater of World War II, the United States made a groundbreaking advancement in artillery by mounting guns on tank chassis, a concept epitomized by the M12 gun motor carriage. These hybrid war machines revolutionized the battlefield with their innovative design. They were simpler to construct, more cost-effective to mass-produce, and a logistician's dream, sharing numerous components with existing tank models. Their mobility was unmatched, capable of navigating any terrain that their tank counterparts could handle. As the post-war era dawned, warfare underwent a significant transformation, necessitating the development of self-propelled guns suited for the atomic age. The specifications set forth by the U.S. military were stringent: a new 155mm self-propelled gun, or SPG, that was impervious to nuclear, biological, and chemical threats, requiring a fully enclosed structure to protect its crew. This ambitious endeavor found its way to the drafting tables of Pacific Car and Foundry in the late 1940s. The company was awarded a contract to produce a prototype based on designs from the Detroit arsenal. The foundation chosen for these mechanical behemoths was the chassis of the M47 Patton Tank. However, this decision brought its own set of challenges. Significant modifications to the hull were essential to meet the demands of the new design. The M55, which borrowed components from the M47 Patton Tank, revolutionized traditional tank design. With its engine located at the front, it powered a front-drive sprocket, enabling it to reach a top speed of 30 miles per hour. The driver's cupola, situated at the front left of the turret, was a distinctive feature, with spare track blocks decorating the turret's exterior. In a stroke of ingenuity, the driver's seat within the turret was equipped with a specialized mechanism that kept the driver facing forward, regardless of the turret's orientation. Pacific Car and Foundry was tasked with creating a variant that could support the massive 203.2-millimeter M47 Howitzer, resulting in the birth of the T-108. The T-97 and T-108 underwent a transformation to become the M53 and M55, respectively. The M53 was designed to accommodate the 203.2-millimeter M47 Howitzer, largely facilitated by the adaptable M86 mount. This innovative design allowed for the easy swapping of guns. Converting an M53 into an M55 involved more than just cosmetic changes. It required a redesign of the ammunition racks and a complete overhaul of the equilibrator system. The larger shells for the 203.2-millimeter gun reduced the internal capacity to just 10 rounds, and the rate of fire decreased to 1 round every 2 minutes. Starting in 1956, many M53s were upgraded to the M55 standard, being retrofitted with the more powerful armament. This transition marked a significant shift in firepower on the modern battlefield. The production journey of the M53 began in 1952, but it was a fleeting endeavor, drawing to a close by 1955. In the end, a combined total of 550 units of the M53 and M55 rolled off the assembly lines. Engineered for self-reliant warfare in a dystopian landscape ravaged by nuclear devastation, these machines were equipped for efficiency. The loader's role was significantly eased with the introduction of mechanical aids such as ammunition cranes and gun rammers, streamlining the process of arming these steel beasts. On the international stage, the M55 carved out a niche for itself, garnering modest acclaim. Nations like Belgium, Turkey, and Germany saw the value in adding this robust artillery piece to their military might, enhancing their firepower capabilities. Nonetheless, it was the United States that remained the stalwart operator of this system, albeit in relatively modest numbers compared to its vast arsenal. Amidst the oppressive heat and dense foliage of Vietnam, the M55 found its moment to shine. Providing heavy, mobile artillery support, It stood as a bulwark against the enemy's advances. Its presence on the battlefield was not just felt, it was feared. When the Tet Offensive erupted in Vietnam in January 1968, it became a stunning display of stealth and firepower by the North Vietnamese Army and Viet Cong. With 85,000 soldiers, they launched a synchronized assault on over 100 South Vietnamese locations, from cities to remote villages. This surprise attack caught American forces off guard, shattering the optimistic narrative promoted by leaders like President Lyndon B. Johnson and General William Westmoreland. Contrary to claims of a weakening enemy, the Tet Offensive revealed a formidable opponent, striking a psychological blow that resonated from Vietnam to the U.S. Among the offensive's key moments was the attack on the U.S. Embassy in Saigon, where a Viet Cong platoon penetrated the compound. The intense close-quarters battle that followed showcased American resilience, but underscored the offensive's deep strategic and psychological impact. Meanwhile, in the northern sector of South Vietnam, Dong Ha stood as a beacon of strategic significance. Perched precariously near the Demilitarized Zone, or DMZ, and straddling the vital lifeline of the Qua Viet River, Dong Ha was more than just a town. It was a critical junction on the war's chessboard, especially with its proximity to the vital artery of Route 1. As 1967 rolled into the fateful year of 1968, Dong Ha found itself in the crosshairs of relentless North Vietnamese aggression. At the heart of Dong Ha's defense was the U.S. naval support activity, a bastion of American might and resolve. Though constantly harried by enemy fire, which wreaked havoc on its fuel and ammunition supplies, the base stood unyielding. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, it endured and evolved into a linchpin of logistical support during the Tet Offensive. The base at Dong Ha transformed into a lifeline for American and Allied forces. It was a hub of ceaseless activity, channeling a veritable torrent of supplies, ammunition, rations, medical supplies to the front lines. This logistical powerhouse was the unsung hero during the Tet Offensive, enabling U.S. Army and Marine units to hold the line and strike back with ferocity. If Dong Ha fell, it would choke off logistics across the entire front, potentially triggering a domino effect that threatened to ravage United States positions. As the Tet Offensive kicked into high gear, the 11th Marine Artillery Regiment, boasting the 1st and 3rd Marine Divisions at Dong Ha, faced a Herculean task: defend this critical stronghold against a tidal wave of enemy forces besieging the outpost. Among their arsenal of 120 artillery pieces, the M55 self-propelled 8-inch Howitzer was a standout. This war machine now stood as the bulwark between the Vietnamese onslaught and the linchpin of Dong Ha. As U.S. forces grappled with the scale and brutality of the surprise attack, Lieutenant Colonel Clayton V. Hendricks and his 11th Marines were tasked with a vital role, providing continuous artillery support for the infantry desperately defending Dong Ha. The M55s of the 11th Marines, powerful and relentless, became the cornerstone of support for the U.S. soldiers entrenched in the front lines. These formidable machines delivered suppressive fire around the clock and played a key role in orchestrating strategic retreats, transforming potential catastrophe into a managed withdrawal. Boasting a remarkable range of 17,000 meters, the M55s unleashed a torrent of destruction on the Viet Cong, pushing them back into the jungle's depths. The 11th Marines' mastery of artillery turned into a display of deadly accuracy and efficiency. They impressively cut down the time from detecting an enemy rocket launch to delivering a thunderous counterstrike with the M55, neutralizing threats in just 3 minutes. Despite its impressive track record, the M55's tenure in active service was relatively short-lived. It was eventually phased out of the U.S. arsenal in favor of the M107 and M110. Ironically, these successors reverted to open-top designs, marking the end of an era for the M55, a symbol of nuclear-age artillery.